Hello, my name is Anthony Grego, and I'm here to talk to you about college football and, more importantly, the injustices committed in the way teams are ranked within their divisions. It's the coaches versus the computers. Millions of people watch college football every Saturday during the fall, and it has led to many collegiate football fans to have an increasing bias against the current computer-generated poll ranking system, better known as the BCS, or Bowl Championship Series. Its brainchild, former SEC Commissioner Roy Kramer. How effective is this system at picking the opponents for the biggest game of the collegiate year? Historically, the best teams were narrowed down by the Coaches Poll and Associated Press Poll, but analysts argue that those teams are not the best matchup for such a big title game. On the other hand, the BCS is determined by computer rankings and was put into action in 1998. Many college football fans feel this system is a ludicrous way of judging the gridiron gods. But nonetheless, for the time being, it is the system of choice. However, there are improvements in the works to help ease the confusion of the rankings and keep the fan base relatively happy. The current ranking system is under contract until at which time either a new ranking system will have to be developed or a playoff system will have to be instituted. Let's understand the current system. The Coaches Poll and the Associated Press Poll have been very successful over the years at picking the best opponent for the national championship of college football. Most of that success has been in the form of profits and an enormous fan base, which by default can be attributed to TV, advertising, and merchandising, which is how Division 1A funds their programs, as well as help promote and attract prospective athletes. But championship bowl games are big money makers, so the emphasis to be accurate with the ranking is as important as ever. For example, the projected profit for the 2003 Bowl Championship Series was $86 million, which is a lot of incentive to be accurate. Now let's see how the BCS operates. It is computer driven, and by that I mean there are 8 computers from 8 different organizations that determine a weekly ranking based on strength of schedule, wins, and losses. This is also the way traditional polls are determined. The only exception is that the computers take the bias out of the thought process. The downside to ranking teams electronically is that a computer cannot tell if a good team is having a bad week or if a bad team is having a good week. Now let's take a look at a viable alternative. Many sports writers and athletic directors of popular universities feel that a playoff system should be put into place as a way of letting the teams hash it out, rather than coaches and computers banging their heads. Although economically this would not guarantee that the bowl series will retain its premier status of having one big bowl game at the end of the season. Rather, it would have several smaller popular bowl games, similar to March Madness in college basketball. Of course, it comes down to money and who gets it. And the feeling from major bowl sponsors, like the Rose Bowl and Sugar Bowl, that idea is highly unlikely, and they would never accept such a plan. In conclusion, many college football fans will always have a high regard for the long-established way of ranking their favorite teams. The effectiveness of the BCS is yet to be determined, and the computer so far has helped iron out who is really number one and who is a Cinderella story, at least until the clock strikes 12. On the other hand, many coaches feel they should have more input in who is number one. After all, they are the experts. Unfortunately, all the debate comes down to money, and to be more precise, who is getting their piece of the pie. Athletic directors of those collegiate organizations will have to find a good mix of money and fans. Nevertheless, without fans there is no money to be made, and that is bad for everyone. Eventually, someone will ask, is the BCS really effective? Or is the traditional way the most fundamental way to resolve this issue? I would say for right now, the BCS is the best system we have in place for the current situation. And who knows what the future could bring. Thank you.